Well, as I record this, a week ago was Halloween. Pumpkins were everywhere. I got thinking, what happens to all those pumpkins anyway? I'm sure that a good amount of it turns into pumpkin pie, but there's not that much homemade pumpkin pie. So, have you ever wondered what happens to those acres and acres of pumpkins right after Halloween? Well, I did some research and I found out.
On a bone-chilling November morning near the Delaware seashore, massive cannons and catapults are being assembled as if the nation was preparing for battle.
Fire in the hole, fire in the hole.
But this arsenal won't be used to combat enemy raiders or for historic war reenactments. These weapons are being made exclusively for throwing pumpkins.
Well, this is the Second Amendment, and this is absolutely the baddest pumpkin gun on the planet.
The Pumpkin Chunkin' Festival was started 20 years ago near Millsboro, Delaware, with 3 slingshot-style machines shooting pumpkins in someone's backyard. Little did the founders know that this first event would inspire a veritable arms race. Today, 100 teams are stationed on the front line, preparing to see how far their self-designed weapons can launch a pumpkin across a 280-acre cornfield.
In 1986, there were 4 guys sitting around the local blacksmith shop discussing medieval games, specifically anvil tossing. They rapidly found out that was rough on the back and shoulders, so they decided they could build a machine to throw it. Anvils were expensive, they bought pumpkins, and here we are 21 years later throwing pumpkins at the World Championship Pumpkin Chunkin'.
The machines range from high school physics projects made from junkyard scraps to high-tech blasters that can cost upwards of $200,000. Although explosives are forbidden across the board, many of these machines still pack quite a punch. Because of the wide variety of contraptions, the competition is divided into different classes.
What we consider the big boys of the competition are the air cannons. Of course, all those guys are looking for what we refer to as the mythical mile.
The air cannons work by sending a rush of compressed air into the barrel, which rockets the pumpkin out the other end. These cannons can launch pumpkins over 4,000 feet, about the length of 11 football fields. And this year, current record holder Second Amendment is gunning for the mile mark at 5,280 feet.
Current world record is 4,434 feet. In practice last weekend, we shot one over 5,000 feet.
Another team going for gold today is Team Chucky, a team that will be competing in the Torsion Catapult division.
Torsion catapult is what most people think of when they think of like an old-fashioned Roman catapult. And what it is, there's a bundle of rope that gets twisted, and tension gets put into it, and so the rope becomes a torsion spring. And it's that tension stored in the bundle of twisted rope that makes the arm go forward.
Speaking of pumpkins, the other day I was in this place of business, a retail store, and the store was very, very neatly arranged, well lit, very clean, and the employees all had their team T-shirts or shirts on. Everybody looked good, but there was this one guy seated at a table almost in the middle of the display of the showroom. He was like unshaven, his hair was a mess. He was sloppily dressed. I thought, what a bum. So, I don't know, several days later, I was talking to somebody about it, and they said, oh, that guy, yeah, he's the owner of the business. Oh. Well, that reminded me of a story years ago. It was during the winter. During the midday for my little 2-hour lunch break, I would go run 2 or 3, 4 miles, and this particular day it was cold. I was wearing a sweatsuit, sweatpants, sweatshirt, and it was bright orange. And when I came back from my run, I was exhausted. I was hot. I was sweaty. I didn't exactly smell good, and I was gasping for air and red in the face. And this door-to-door salesperson selling office supplies walked into the office and asked where the office manager was. And so I told her, I said, well, go up the staircase, and the first door you see, go through that door, and Connie is the office manager. So off she went. Off I went to the shower. And when I got out of the shower, the salesperson was awaiting in the lobby. And when I came out, she says, have a check here that you will need to sign. And I thought that was kind of odd because we don't normally purchase things from door-to-door solicitors for office supplies. We had an account with a reputable store in town, but I didn't want to make a scene, and the check was only like, I don't know, $10 or $20. So I just signed it. Well, immediately I went up the stairs and went into Connie's office. I said, Connie, what's up with that? We don't normally buy office supplies like that. She said, I know, Mark. She said, but this lady came into my office, and the first thing she said was, the guy in the pumpkin suit said I needed to see you about office supply purchases. So she said, I made a small purchase and then told her to take the check downstairs and get the guy in the pumpkin suit to sign the check. Well, both of those are rather benign and innocuous examples of prejudice, but prejudice is actually a very serious matter. All of us prejudge, all of us base things about other people, our assumptions about other people, our predictions about how they will act and how they will react, and a lot of stuff we base on just an outward appearance. And not only is that errant and mistaken and not good for our culture, the Bible actually speaks out against making assumptions or judging anybody by their outward appearance.